In the world of live television, there are no second takes. From career-threatening botches to wardrobe malfunctions seen by millions, these are the unscripted disasters WWE superstars wish you'd forget. While we love the five-star matches, let's be honest, sometimes it's the mistakes and the downright humiliating moments that really stick with us. Welcome, wrestling fans, to the ultimate countdown of cringe. We're digging through the WWE archives for the real-life, unscripted, and often hilarious catastrophes that were never supposed to happen. These moments have defined careers for all the wrong reasons, proving that from champions to the chairman himself, nobody is safe from live TV humiliation. What's the one WWE moment that made you feel embarrassed just watching? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe the channel. Now, let's get to it. Number 10. Stephanie McMahon's wardrobe malfunction, 2002. Kicking off our list at number 10 is a moment the billion-dollar princess herself has called the most embarrassing of her career. We're rewinding to 2002, a time when Stephanie McMahon wasn't the polished chief brand officer we know today, but a spiteful, power-hungry character tangled up in a bitter feud with her own husband, Triple H. Now, the backstory here is everything. This wasn't just any segment. It was the payoff to a deeply personal and chaotic story. Triple H had just returned from a massive quad injury to a hero's welcome, winning the Royal Rumble. Stephanie, his on-screen wife, became obsessively controlling and even faked a pregnancy to keep him. The truth came out during their wedding vow renewal on Raw, where Triple H, tipped off by his mother-in-law, Linda, publicly humiliated Stephanie and pedigreed her father, Vince. This all led to a heated triple threat match for the undisputed championship at WrestleMania 18. On an episode of Raw right before the event, Triple H finally got his hands on Stephanie, dragging her onto the announce table for a pedigree. What happened next is a famous bit of live TV lore. As Triple H set up the move, Stephanie's low-cut top reportedly shifted, leading to a wardrobe malfunction. She later recalled the horror of realizing what happened while her arms were pinned, leaving her helpless. While this moment is a hot topic in fan discussions, clear footage is hard to come by, as WWE has since edited the incident from its archives on the WWE network. It became one of the Attitude Era's most talked-about slips, though perhaps more widely documented was Jackie Gaeta's own infamous malfunction that same year. For Stephanie, it was a deeply personal and unforgettable bit of humiliation. Number 9. Trish Stratus, forced to bark like a dog, 2001. Number 9 is one of the most infamous and controversial segments of the entire Attitude Era, a moment so demeaning it's still debated by fans over 2 decades later. We're talking about the time WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus was publicly humiliated by Vince McMahon on the March 5, 2001 episode of Raw. So, how did we get here? Vince McMahon was having an on-screen affair with Trish, all while his wife, Linda, was in a kayfabe catatonic state. Vince, drunk on power, was flaunting the relationship in front of his sedated wife and his daughter, Stephanie. But as the weeks went on, Vince grew tired of Trish and started treating her like a toy to be tossed aside. This all led to a moment that was tough to watch, even for the Attitude Era. In the middle of the ring, Vince called Trish out and demanded she prove her loyalty by getting on her knees. Then, in a moment that made audiences cringe worldwide, he commanded her to bark like a dog. The crowd was audibly uncomfortable as Trish, playing her part, reluctantly got on all fours. To make things worse, he then forced her to strip down to her lingerie. The whole thing was designed to be the ultimate act of humiliation. Trish Stratus has since explained that she understood its purpose, for her character to hit rock bottom. This was the turning point that would finally get the audience to sympathize with her. The payoff came at WrestleMania 17, where Trish got her revenge by slapping Vince during his match against his son, Shane, which got a massive pop from the crowd. Despite the storyline justification, The bark like a dog segment is still difficult to watch. It's a relic of a different time, showcasing a level of degradation that would never fly today. Number 8. Charlotte Flair's shorts mishap. Coming in at number 8 is a more recent, and thankfully less malicious, wardrobe malfunction involving one of the greatest of all time, Charlotte Flair. This happened on an episode of SmackDown Live in August 2017 during a match against Lana. The match itself was pretty simple. Charlotte, the established champion, was facing Lana, who was still pretty new to the ring. The story was that Lana was out of her league, but the most memorable part of the match had nothing to do with wrestling. During one sequence, Charlotte went for a sunset flip. As she performed the move, Lana instinctively grabbed onto Charlotte's waistband to stop the momentum. Unfortunately, as Charlotte rolled through, Lana's grip pulled her shorts down, exposing her backside to a section of the live audience. The TV cameras, thanks to their angle, mostly missed it, so viewers at home were largely unaware. Charlotte, ever the professional, realized what happened, quickly pulled her gear back up, and finished the match without missing a beat. The live crowd, however, saw everything. Their reaction was immediate, with a part of the arena breaking into a "Thank you, Lana" chant. It was an awkward and accidental moment for Charlotte. Later, she handled it with total grace and humor, cheekily saying in a backstage segment, "I just wanted to give Toronto a good show." It was the perfect response, acknowledging the slip-up while not letting it faze her. Number 7. Sasha Banks' costume slip. At number 7, we have another top-tier superstar betrayed by her ring gear, this time involving the boss, Sasha Banks. This happened during the main event of Monday Night Raw on January 21st, 2019, and it was enough to make the live TV feed cut to black. The stage was set for a huge tag team match, Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Ronda Rousey and Natalya. This was all part of the build to the Royal Rumble, where Sasha was set to challenge Ronda for the title. The slip-up happened while Sasha was in the ring with Natalya. During a sequence of moves, Natalya's grip on Sasha's tights was a little too firm, and her gear got pulled down, briefly exposing her backside. Unlike the Charlotte incident, this was visible on the broadcast feed. The WWE production team, known for being quick on the draw, immediately cut the signal. Viewers in the United States saw their screens go black for a few seconds, leading to confusion about technical difficulties. However, some international feeds without the same delay caught the moment uncensored. Sasha, realizing what happened, quickly adjusted her attire and professionally won the match. The incident became a talking point online. It's a classic example of the chaos of live TV and the split-second decisions the production team has to make. For Sasha Banks, it was an unlucky glitch in an otherwise important main event win, earning it a spot on our list. Alright, we're halfway through our countdown of cringe, and it only gets more embarrassing from here. If you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, do us a solid and hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another breakdown of WWE's most unforgettable moments. Now, let's get back to the list. Number 6. Nia Jax's Hole Moment, 2021. Crashing into our number 6 spot is a moment that's less about a visual and more about an exclamation so bizarre and perfectly timed that it became an instant, legendary meme. Of course, we're talking about Nia Jax and the infamous My Hole incident from Monday Night Raw on February 8, 2021. The setup was a long-running feud between Nia Jax and Lana. For months, Nia had been putting Lana through the announce table week after week. This tables match was Lana's shot at revenge. During the match, Nia went for a leg drop on Lana, who was lying on the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring. But Lana moved at the last second. Nia came crashing down hard on her tailbone. The impact was huge, but it was the audio that made this iconic. In the quiet of the WWE Thunderdome, a hot mic picked up Nia's raw, unfiltered reaction as she yelled, "My butt! My hole!" That final piercing cry of "My hole!" echoed through the arena and into millions of homes. The internet absolutely exploded. Within minutes, #MyHole was trending on Twitter. Even wrestling legend Mick Foley chimed in, tweeting, "My hole could be the Austin 316 for a new generation." To add insult to injury, just seconds after her cry of agony, Lana shoved the recovering Nia into a table to win the match. This was the perfect storm of wrestling embarrassment, a painful botch that led to a completely unfiltered, unintentionally hilarious moment on live TV. Number 5. Paige's personal insult to Charlotte Flair, 2015. At number 5, we move from accidental embarrassment to something far more calculated and deeply uncomfortable. This comes from a Divas Championship contract signing on Raw in November 2015, and it involved Paige crossing a line that many believe should never be crossed. The story was about the broken friendship between Paige and champion Charlotte Flair. To build heat for their match, WWE scripted a contract signing. During the promo, Charlotte brought up her late younger brother, Reed Flair, who tragically passed away in 2013 from a drug overdose. Charlotte emotionally explained she was in WWE to live his dream. This is where the segment went into dark territory. In response, Paige delivered a vicious, scripted line. She looked at Charlotte and coldly said, "Your little baby brother, he didn't have much fight in him, did he?" The reaction was immediate. The live crowd gasped. Charlotte, channeling genuine rage, flew across the table and attacked Paige. While a heel's job is to get heat, this felt different. It was cheap heat that used a real-life family tragedy. The backlash was severe. Fans were disgusted, and more importantly, the Flair family was hurt. Ric Flair himself later said he was never told his late son would be mentioned that way. The controversy grew so large that WWE issued a statement implying that Charlotte had advocated for the line herself. This wasn't a botch. It was a deliberate creative choice that backfired, creating a moment of profound embarrassment for the entire company. Number 4. Vince McMahon's head shaving, WrestleMania 23. Number 4 on our list involves the ultimate humiliation for one of the most powerful men in entertainment, Vince McMahon. We're talking about the Battle of the Billionaires at WrestleMania 23 in 2007, which ended with the WWE chairman getting his head shaved bald in the middle of the ring. The storyline was pure spectacle. Vince McMahon feuded with another billionaire, Donald Trump. Each chose a superstar to represent them in a match. If Trump's wrestler lost, Trump would get his head shaved. If McMahon's wrestler lost, Vince would go bald. Trump chose Bobby Lashley, while Vince chose Umaga. To top it off, Stone Cold Steve Austin was the special guest referee. At WrestleMania 23, Bobby Lashley defeated Umaga. The deal was done. Vince had lost. What followed was pure chaotic joy for the fans. McMahon was strapped into a barber's chair as Lashley and Trump took turns with clippers, gleefully shearing off McMahon's signature black hair. They lathered his head with shaving cream and used razors to finish the job, leaving him completely bald. For a man as obsessed with his image as Vince McMahon, this was the ultimate embarrassment. It wasn't just losing, it was a public stripping of his power and vanity. The image of a bald, defeated, and utterly humiliated Vince McMahon, his ego shattered on the industry's biggest stage, is burned into the memory of every fan who saw it. Number 3. Brock Lesnar kisses Kurt Angle, 2003. Our number 3 entry is a bizarre and hilarious moment that never even made it to TV. It happened in an off-air dark segment after a SmackDown taping in 2003 and has since become the stuff of locker room legend. It involves two of WWE's most legit athletes, Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, and a completely unscripted kiss. The on-screen rivalry between Angle and Lesnar in 2003 was one of the best of the era. They had incredible chemistry and a competitive but friendly relationship behind the scenes. However, Brock Lesnar was also a known prankster. On this particular night, after the cameras stopped rolling, Kurt Angle was in the ring. Brock Lesnar's music hit, and he came down, but not for a fight. Instead, Lesnar, with a mischievous grin, cornered the Olympic gold medalist. He then leaned in and planted a full, deliberate kiss right on Angle's lips. Angle's reaction was pure shock. He stood there stunned as Lesnar laughed and the crowd roared. This wasn't a storyline. It was simply Brock Lesnar, the most intimidating man on the roster, deciding it would be funny to kiss his rival in front of thousands of people. Kurt Angle has retold the story himself in many interviews, always with a laugh. It's a perfect example of the strange reality of pro wrestling, where 1 minute you're in a blood feud and the next, your opponent is kissing you as a joke. Number 2. CM Punk's in-ring accident, 2013. Coming in at number 2 is an incident that is, without a doubt, the messiest on this list. This is the story of when CM Punk pooped his pants on SmackDown. This unfortunate event happened in December of 2013 during a match against Dean Ambrose. The backstory, as Punk later revealed, is pretty grim. He was physically and mentally burnt out, working through injuries and a serious MRSA infection. WWE's medical staff had him on a heavy course of antibiotics, specifically Z-Paks. One of the most common side effects of strong antibiotics is digestive distress. On this particular night, that side effect hit at the worst possible time. During the match, while Ambrose had him in a chinlock, Punk's body betrayed him. The combination of physical exertion and antibiotics resulted in an undeniable accident. He later said he found it humorous at the time, even laughing about it with Vince McMahon backstage. Punk himself was surprisingly open about it, tweeting, "Just sh-tee my britches" on SmackDown shortly after, though WWE reportedly made him take it down. This wasn't scripted humiliation. It was the messy, deeply embarrassing result of a performer being pushed to his physical limit. For sheer, unadulterated biological embarrassment, CM Punk's accident is nearly impossible to top. Number 1. Brock Lesnar rips his pants, 2025. And now, the number 1 most embarrassing moment in WWE history. It's a recent moment of such unexpected comedy that it instantly went viral, humanizing one of the most intimidating superstars of all time. We are talking about the September 12th, 2025 episode of SmackDown, and the day Brock Lesnar's pants split wide open. The scene was set for a tense confrontation. Lesnar was in the ring to address his feud with John Cena ahead of their match at WrestlePalooza when he was interrupted by R-Truth. In a classic R-Truth moment, he came out to defend his childhood hero and older brother, John Cena, even introducing himself as Ron Cena, which got the crowd chanting. Lesnar, clearly unamused, decided he'd heard enough and hoisted Truth up for his devastating F5 finishing move. But as Lesnar delivered the move and stood up, the force of the maneuver caused his jeans to rip completely down the back, exposing his blue underwear to the world. Instead of being embarrassed, the notoriously stoic Lesnar broke character. He laughed, bent over to show the crowd the rip, and even began dancing in the ring. As he walked backstage, he yelled into the camera, "F it, stupid, I ripped my pants." It was a moment where the Beast Incarnate's aura of intimidation was temporarily shattered by pure, hilarious reality. Before we wrap up, a few other moments just missed our top 10. First, the time Rikishi gave Stephanie McMahon his infamous stink face in 2001. After being left alone in the ring, Stephanie was forced into the corner where the 400-pound superstar rubbed his backside in her face. Rikishi has even claimed he didn't know it was going to happen until he was walking to the ring. Next, the short-lived and widely panned gimmick of Max Dupree, the man we now know as the megastar LA Knight. When he was called up in 2022, the charismatic Knight was repackaged as the manager of the Maximum Male Models. The gimmick was a terrible fit, and fans rejected it. The entire run was an embarrassing detour that was thankfully abandoned. Finally, there's Victoria's aggressive debut period in 2002. While not one single moment, her entire early presentation was built on being unhinged and overly violent. often to a point that seemed to blur the lines and create an aura of uncomfortable danger. So there you have it, the top 10 most embarrassing and unforgettable moments in WWE history. From the chairman of the board to Hall of Fame legends, this list proves that in the world of live sports entertainment, no one is immune to disaster. These are the moments that humanize our superstars, reminding us that behind the fireworks and title belts, things can and will go hilariously wrong. Which moment on our list made you cringe the most? Did we miss any that should have made the cut? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this countdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.